Well, with the new third film out now, let us talk about the previous adventure with Star-Lord and his crew. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Enough said. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers and true believers out there. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Dual, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a re-review of the 2017 superhero flick, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, released by Disney from, from Marvel Studios. The 15th installment of the MCU, written and directed by James Gunn, alone this time. He wrote this alone, featuring the return of Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, and the voices of Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper as the titular characters, along with Michael Rooker and Karen Gillan returning, plus Pom Klementieff, Sylvester Stallone, and Kurt Russell. This time, the Guardians travel throughout the cosmos as they help their leader, Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, learn more about his mysterious parentage. Now, this did just a bit better than its predecessor, and what have you. While like, another sequel, a previous MCU sequel, Iron Man 2, critics kind of deemed this inferior to the original, but I don't care. This was still pretty good. Now, first of all, if you haven't seen my review of the first one, well, my re-review, click on that card and revisit and watch that in case you might have missed it, or if you want to see it again. Anyway, this film was so incredible. Of course, this is set shortly after the first film to explore the characters' new roles as Guardians and to follow the storyline of Quill's father established throughout that previous film. So, if you're ready, let's get into our story. In 2014, Peter Quill, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Baby Groot are renowned as the Guardians of the Galaxy. Aisha, leader of the Sovereign race, has the Guardians protect valuable batteries from Obelisk, an interdimensional monster, in exchange for Gamora's estranged sister, Nebula, who was caught attempting to steal the batteries. After Rocket steals the batteries for himself, the Sovereign attacks the Guardian ship with a fleet of drones. A mysterious figure destroys the drones, and the Guardians crash land on a nearby planet. There, this figure reveals himself as Quill's father, Ego, and invites Quill, Gamora, and Drax to his home planet. Rocket and Groot remain behind to repair the ship and guard Nebula. Meanwhile, Aisha hires Yondu Odonta and his crew, who have been exiled from the Great Ravager community for child trafficking, to recapture the Guardians. They capture Rocket, but when Yondu hesitates to turn over Quill, whom he raised, his lieutenant Kraglin Obfanteri questions his objectivity, and another lieutenant, Taserface, leads a mutiny, aided by Nebula. Taserface imprisons Rocket and Yondu aboard the latter's ship and executes his loyalists. Nebula leaves to find and kill Gamora, whom she blames for the torture inflicted on her by their adopted father, Thanos. Groot and Kraglin, the latter having never intended to start the mutiny, free Rocket and Yondu. Using Yondu's arrow, the group destroys the ship and its crew while escaping. Taserface warns the Sovereign before dying. Ego, a godlike celestial that manipulated the matter around his consciousness to form his home planet, explains that he projected a humanoid guise to travel the universe and discover a purpose, eventually falling in love with Quill's mother, Meredith. Ego hired Yondu to collect the young Quill after Meredith's death, but the boy was never delivered, and Ego had been searching for him ever since. He teaches Quill to manipulate the celestial power. Nebula arrives at Ego's planet and tries to kill Gamora, but the pair reach an easy alliance when they discover a cavern filled with skeletal remains. Ego reveals to Quill that in his travels, he plants seedlings on thousands of worlds that can terraform into new extensions of himself, but only the power of two Celestials can activate them. To that end, he impregnated countless women and hired Yondu to collect some of the children, but killed them all when they failed to access the celestial power. At first, under Ego's influence, Quill fights back when Ego reveals that he gave Meredith the brain tumor that killed her due to the distraction she posed, forcing Ego to parasitically draw Quill's energy to activate the seedlings, which begin to consume every world. And meanwhile, Mantis, Ego's naive empath servant, grows close to Drax and warns him of Ego's pain. Plan. I'm getting tongue tied. Plan. Now for the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below. Fast forward to the time below. As I'm counting down, if you've seen the movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Gamora and Nebula also learn the plan as Rocket, Yondu, and Gru and Kraglin arrive. The reunited Guardians travel to Ego's brain at the planet's core, during which Yondu reveals that he kept Quill to spare him from the fate of Ego's other progeny. As they come under attack from the Sovereign's drones, Rocket makes a bomb using the stolen batteries, which Groot plants on the brain. Quill fights Ego with his newfound celestial powers to distract him long enough for the other Guardians and Mantis to escape. The bomb explodes, killing Ego and disintegrating the planet. Quill loses his celestial power soon as after Ego's death. Yondu sacrifices himself to save Quill and dies in the vacuum of space. Having reconciled with Gamora, Nebula still chooses to leave and resume her quest to kill Thanos by herself. The Guardians hold a funeral for Yondu, which Kraglin and dozens of Ravager's ships attend, acknowledging Yondu's sacrifice and accepting him as a Ravager again. During the funeral, Gamora admits she loves Peter, and they become a couple. That would be the end for now, but in a series of mid and post credit scenes, Kraglin takes up Yondu's telekinetic arrow and control fin. Ravager leader Stakar Ogord reunites with his ex-teammates. Aisha creates Adam, a new artificial being with whom she plans to destroy the Guardians, hence leading into the events of the brand new film. Groot grows into a teenager, and a group of uninterested watchers abandon their informant who is discussing his experiences on Earth. And that's the end. So, what did I think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Well, I don't care what the critics say it being inferior to its predecessor. I liked it. It was fun and what have you. The film was released on May 5th here in the US in 2017. Anyway, now it went on to become the 8th highest grossing film of 2017 and was part of the third phase of the MCU. The film went on to make over 869 million worldwide, outgrossing its predecessor. The film received praise for its visuals, direction, soundtrack, action sequences, humor, and the performances as well. It received a nomination for Best Visual Effects at the Academy Awards. Tyler Bates is once again back on board to do the score for the film, which I thought was real good. There would also be an Awesome Mix Volume 2 mixtape, just like the first film. And let me tell you, it did pretty well and what have you. Now, I will tell you that some of the songs I hear really surprised me. We hear ELO's Mr. Blue Sky at the opening credits, Electric Light Orchestra. We hear Fleetwood Mac's The Chain, George Harrison's My Sweet Lord, and Saturday Nights by Glenn Campbell, whom we sadly lost that same year. Oh yeah, and we even get to hear Cheap Trick's Surrender. Yeah, I will say this is really a great one. So, so you gotta admit the soundtrack to this was wonderful. Now, as for our cast, we once again have Chris Pratt playing Peter Quill, aka Star Lord. He's still real good in that role, definitely. Zoe Saldana returns as Gamora. She was good once more. Same with Dave Bautista, who played Drax. Vin Diesel voices the baby Groot. Still pretty funny and what have you. Bradley Cooper once again voices Rocket, who let me tell you is really more awesome than what you could expect. Michael Rooker once again plays Yondu. I gotta say that was good too. Karen Gillan returns as Nebula. She was good. Now we have Pom Klementieff as Mantis. She was pretty good. Then old Sly himself, Sylvester Stallone, played Ogre. And I'll say that was really a big surprise. And Kurt Russell played Ego. Yes. Now, actually, this character replaces Quill's original comic far Jason, and was allowed to be used in the film after Fox reached a deal with Marvel to return the film rights of Ego for changing the power set of Negasonic Teenage Warhead, whom Fox wanted to use in Deadpool the previous year. How you like that? Elizabeth Debicki plays Aisha. She was pretty good. So anyway, I think we had a whole lot of good ones. We even get to see Howard the Duck again in a wee bit of an appearance. So incredible. And yes, and as the informant to the Watchers is the late great Stan the Man Lee himself. Now, he discusses previous adventures and includes cameos in their MCU films. He specifically mentions his time as a FedEx delivery man, which connects to Lee's cameo as a FedEx delivery man in Captain America: Civil War, which also came out the previous year. But anyway, really awesome. And there's a ton of other cameos and what have you, so you'll know that's cool and all. But anyway, the reviews were absolutely incredible. I said 869 million. I made an error. It's 863 million, so apologies. Anyway, while the score on the tomato meters is a wee bit short of its predecessor with 85%, but however makes it certified fresh, they say that the film's action-packed plot, dazzling visuals, and irreverent humor add up to a sequel that's almost as fun, if not quite as strongly fresh, as its predecessor. Too true, but I still had a lot of fun with it. And Variety called the film an extravagant and witty follow-up made with the same friendly, virtuosic dazzle, and just obligatory enough to be too much of a good thing. The person who did that review said this time he cautioned that this time you can sense just how hard Mr. Gunn is working to entertain you, maybe a little too hard. But hey, that's understandable. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone described the film as a blast. Definitely. And he noticed that it can't match the sneak attack surprise of its predecessor, but the follow up, while taking on some CGI bloat and sequel slickness, hasn't lost its love for inspired lunacy. Too true. Overall, I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 2, well, Volume 2 was very fun, what have you. With a great cast, great characters, great story, great direction from James Gunn, a great score from Tyler Bates, and more great classic rock and pop tunes and I don't know what have you for its soundtrack. It's really good. So, in the end, would I recommend Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? The answer is hell yeah. Definitely look into it. It is on physical media and it's also available to stream on Disney Plus. Now, after this, there would be a Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special released last year on Disney Plus, and of course, the sequel, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, is now playing in theaters. So expect a review of that real soon. So, what did you think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned for my Saturday morning TV log of the Iron Man animated series from the 1990s, from 1994, coming up tomorrow morning. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, check out my re-reviews for some of these other MCU films. In the upper left-hand corner is my re-review of Iron Man 2. The upper right-hand corner is my re-review of Thor Ragnarok. I just go ahead and leave that up since I did for the last one. Or if you'd like, see my review for the more recent film with the God of Thunder, Thor Love and Thunder, from last year in 2022. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and until next time, true believers, I'm the Big D saying see ya and Excelsior!